Today on the channel, what is old is new again, as today on the channel we're taking a look at the Walmart exclusive SuperPowers, Superman and Batman.
The spirit of the warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel from Mcfarlane Toys, Kenner Throwback SuperPowers unboxing and review with Superman and Batman. But for all your Mcfarlane needs and a whole lot more, hit up Big Bad Toy Store, link in the description below. And you can't find these at Big Bad Toy Store, at least not yet, as these are a Walmart exclusive. These are a throwback to the 80s. I collected the original Kenner SuperPowers toy line as an 80s kid. I had the Hall of Justice, I had the vehicles, I had a lot of this stuff. And some of my fondest playing days were with the throwback versions of these toys that we're getting here today. I used to even play with them like wrestlers from time to time. And it's funny, as a lot of kids and people of my age bracket, I guess, we were all in on a lot of the DC guys at an early age because of this toy line. And there wasn't a really good Marvel toy line. There was the Secret Wars toy line, but that wasn't as big as this toy line was in the 80s. And I think that's what made a lot of DC heroes and villains a little bit more popular than their Marvel counterparts at that time in the 80s. Obviously, in this day and age, I would say Marvel's heroes blow away the DC heroes, just with all the movies and all the entertainment and TV shows, things like that. But DC definitely has iconic people, and we're looking at two of the most iconic ones today in Superman and Batman. And we're going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. And, of course, like I said, these were at Walmart. Had that old outlaw Waylon Jennings came across these and picked these up for me. So I appreciate the help from an outlaw for sure. And we're going to start with Superman here. And unfortunately, all the Supermans were crunched. So I don't know how well these will be. These are about a $10 figure price point. So the pricing isn't really that bad on these guys. $10, that's pretty livable in this day and age for sure. But it seems like they do come in some damaged cards. So buyer beware there. These are hitting Walmarts with the new resets here that are beginning. We also got two vehicles with them, and we'll talk about that here on the Glamour Shots. But without further ado, let's look at the packaging. Now, the packaging could be better than the figures here. Is that when I see this packaging, it just brings me back to my childhood. I remember going to KB Toys, for example, picking these guys up way back in the day. Absolutely loved them, and it's cool of Mcfarlane to come back with these figures all these years later as a sweet retro packaging. Now, I really do accustom these to the Target version of Target has the Batman 66 throwback figures. Walmart has the 80s Kenner SuperPowers throwback figures. So it's kind of Mcfarlane's dueling toy lines that are exclusive to the major retailers, at least here in the United States. But very, very iconic looks, and to this day and age, I always prefer the Kenner SuperPower looks to DC heroes over anything they've changed to or whatever. I've always liked this inspired look the best. Got that beautiful like starburst for the SuperPowers, very iconic. That Superman logo, once again, very iconic. Superman artwork, very iconic. A lot of iconic things right here. What's missing though is that Kenner throwback packaging, or that Kenner logo. Obviously, that is a Hasbro property. That's not going to swing with Mcfarlane. So instead, we get a Mcfarlane Toys logo, kind of an old school Mcfarlane's, trying to look a little different. So that is one thing. It would be great with that Kenner logo, just not going to happen in this day and age. On the back of the package, we get a little blurb action. We get that old-fashioned cross-sell. Very, very old-fashioned. Looks like it back from the 80s. You get the two vehicles. Superman's vehicle, which I always thought was strange even back then. And this is a totally different vehicle than the one I had as a kid. And then, of course, the Batarang, which makes a little bit more sense to me. They're the Batarang, the Batwing, how about? Darkseid is the one we're missing here. I'll pick him up eventually. I'm sure we'll come across him. I don't anticipate these to be very hard to get figures. And I can see a lot of people getting these as a mint on card. I wouldn't be against having a mint on card set of this. I just don't know where I would put it. That's my problem there. But I am definitely opening this up. I can't wait to dig in. This doesn't look as fun or as good as the 80s version. I don't know if that makes sense. Obviously, it looks like Superman. It looks like that, but it definitely looks different. But we'll see. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Stop the clock. It's future Kyle breaking back in. Past Kyle was getting away ahead of himself a little bit, and he forgot to read the back on Superman. So let's see what it says about Superman here. Superman, the Man of Steel, sent to Earth from the dying planet of Krypton as a baby, Kal-El was found by farmers Martha and Jonathan Kent and raised as their son Clark. As Clark grew up, the radiation from Earth's yellow sun gave him extraordinary powers, which he kept hidden. Now fully grown, he uses his powers to protect his adopted world as Superman. The Man of Steel is virtually invulnerable and has the power of super strength, super speed, and flight. He also has enhanced senses, including heat vision, X-ray vision, super hearing, and super breath. See you later. Back to the show. Let's get him out of the package without further ado. It hurts me. Like I said, these would look beautiful as a mint-on card set all on a wall together. It would be pretty cool. See you later. Goodbye. Can I get him out of the plastic prison? He's stuck in there. There he is. Up high. See you later. Goodbye. And now see something I don't like already off the bat here. Look at that. His cape. They got the little plastic lock-in right through the cape. What is this? What is this? The 70s? What are we doing here? We're putting a hole in the cape. So that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So now you got a hole in the cape. So what are we doing here? I guess is Mcfarlane just assuming everybody's keeping these on card? I don't know, but there's a hole in the cape now, so I'm not a big fan of that right off the bat. I'm not a big fan of how the cape feels either right off the bat, and it popped right out. Up high, see you later, goodbye, there it goes. I'll get this off to the side, and let's look at this cape first. Oh, I do got some of the feels in the cape, though. It's got that kind of ring around the collar that holds it in. I remember that as a kid. It would get a little loose on the Batman, Supermans would kind of fall off. But very, very iconic cape. But I just can't stare at anything but that huge glaring hole in the back. That doesn't make any sense to me why they would do that. Just dumb. Absolutely dumb. Superman logo on the back, that is cool enough. But I hate the material this cape is made out of. I would have liked a nicer cloth. This is almost like paper. I could easily rip this if I really wanted to. Just not what I wanted in a cape here. So we're off to a rough start here. And the figure feels okay. Obviously, it's a little smaller. This is probably about a 5-inch tall figure, maybe 4.5, 5. Almost like a Star Wars figure, 3 3/4 Star Wars, but it is bigger than that. But it does not feel the same as those Kenner Powers superpower figures back in the day. The same articulation for sure, except we didn't have elbows in those. It's the same articulation in those, but those felt just different, and this feels a little cheaper. This feels like a step up from a Happy Meal toy, to be honest with you. Not the greatest feeling toy of all time. You can see some glue spots on there that kind of do stick out a little bit around the belt, but the paint doesn't look too sloppy. Just a lot of glue slop around the belt is what I'm seeing here. So that's unfortunate as well. The head looks good. We get twisted and turning on the head. No up and down, just side to side. Very, very piercing blue eyes on Superman here. And then, of course, the black hair. And he's got the little curl, the Christopher Reeve going on there, which I do remember back to the 80s, of course, with that. He's got his blue costume. The Superman logo on the chest looks good. A lot of excess glue on the yellow belt, like I said. Articulation at the knees feels pretty good. Very Batman 66-like I said. A little bit, very, very stiff in the joints, which isn't a bad thing, if you ask me. He does have 2 fists. He's ready to go. He's ready to fly, ready to do what he needs to do. He does have his red boots on. Let's see how well this cape sticks onto his neck. Hopefully it fits fairly good. And it does fit pretty good. So it does look okay with the cape. I mean, it's kind of out there, but it just feels like something that was made at an arts and crafts store. It's like I cut my own material is what it feels like. So I wish it had a little bit more of a softness, a little bit more real cape feel instead of like a paper feel. And man, that glaring hole in the back of the cape just started things off terribly, if you ask me. We're not going to be able to put him on a stand. He's got no holes in his feet, so he won't work on a stand. Let's see how easy he stands up, though. It should be okay. Yeah, it's okay. So, I don't know. That's my first go-around with these guys. We're going to unbox Batman next. But so far, I'm thinking this is a better on-card set than a loose set. I think that's where it has to be right there. Let's take a look at Batman now. Maybe Batman will fare differently, but I gotta assume we're going to have a lot of similarities there. Once again, iconic Batman, but when I think back to my Batman toy of yesteryear, this seems to be a little bit darker in the colors. It needed to be lightened up a little bit more to be a true throwback, but I love that Batman logo at the very top. Obviously, the SuperPowers logo is great, the Mcfarlane logo in the corner, and then I love the animation style, the artwork on Batman right there. Got the big DC logo on the top as well. Same cross-sell going on, all that kind of fun stuff. Let's see what it says about our old friend Batman. I didn't read Superman. I might have to go back and edit that in, I think. We'll see. But as a child, Bruce Wayne watched as his parents were brutally killed in Gotham City's crime alley. Traumatized by their deaths, he devoted his life to becoming the world's greatest weapon against crime, the Batman. To become the ultimate vigilante, the Dark Knight disciplined his mind and body to reach the pinnacle of mental and physical superiority in his relentless pursuit of justice. And good for him. Good for him. All right, let's get him out of the package. Let's see what's going on. And once again, we got that right through the cape. What are we doing? See you later. Mcfarlane, what are we doing? That's not going to work. That does not work at all for me. This has been a tough day at the review table. A tough day at the review table. And we're pulling it all out, getting it off the races. See you later. Goodbye. Once again, cape feels exactly like I thought it would feel. It does have same thing. It's like the same everything. It's just a different style of cape, of course, with the edges here for Batman. But you got that big hole. Once again, glaring hole. You look at it, you can't look away from. Why is there a hole in the back of that cape? What's that all about? I don't know. So that's disappointing. And then you get down to the Batman, and once again, it just feels like a child toy. I gotta say, I think I'm all out on this line. I wanted to give it a chance, but I think this is a better on-card line. The gimmick, the coolness of this is having it on card. I don't recommend it. If you want these as openers, I don't think they're going to do a whole lot for you, and they don't really do a whole lot for me at all. I think these should have been kept in the package. That's my verdict here before we even got done with Batman. Just the way these feel, and the cape issues and things like that. That's just the way it's going to be. But once again, this feels like a child Happy Meal toy is what it feels like. The articulation is the same. Arms go all the way around. There's no elbow articulation, no waist articulation. Do got a bend in the knee. You do get the legs that go up. They do go back. Besides that, you got a little bit of head side to side, and that's it. You're off to the races. That's all you're going to get here. Like I said, the colors need to be brightened up a little bit more. It's a little bit dark if it's going for a throwback look. He wasn't quite this dark in his original figure. The cape slides on like so, just like that. Fits good. It looks okay from the front, but it doesn't look like anything expensive. And like I said, this is around $10. Really, really cheap in this day and age with the inflation of previous $20 figures up to about $25 to $30, depending where you go. As of late. So it's nice to get a cheap toy line. These might be good for little kids playing in the back of their car, you know, grandma getting them something cheap when they go to the store. But outside of that, I think this is an MOC collector, probably trying for that 35 to 50 something year old age bracket, saying, I had those when I was a kid, I played with those with my brother and stuff. Things like that. That's probably what they're trying to hit in the nostalgia feels. I like that we're only getting maybe 1 or 2 or 3 of these guys at a time. Not a huge overload of figures, so I do like that. With so many other lines being collected out there, that makes sense to me. The vehicles, I'm not sure on. I'm totally on the fence on this whole line. As of right now, I think I'm done with this. There's just not enough here. If anything, I'll wait for a clearance. If they go down to $5, $4, something like that, I might buy them mint on card at that price and try to figure out something to do with them down the road. We'll see what happens there. I did talk about the Batman 66 line. They do got a lot of similarities. Obviously, these are a little bigger figures, but the overall feel very similar to this. And these are about $15 to $18 price point, or play the long game, get them for about $5, as we've been seeing a lot lately. I don't know. I just don't know if there's enough meat on the bone for the average Joe out there. Definitely not for me, so a little disappointing here. I was hoping for a little bit more, but you get what you pay for, as they do say. But what are your thoughts on these? All in, all out, going mint on card? Let me know your thoughts on these guys, and let me know if you've seen them at your Walmarts. They're trickling in very, very slowly in my area. Only 1 store or 2 stores. It's still taking some time to get out there, but I do think these will be very plentiful once they do hit, once the resets get going. But like I said, let me know your thoughts on these figures. Don't forget to like this video. You made it this far. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell. Follow along on Patreon for this video and many other videos much, much earlier. Bonus content, exclusive content, and a whole lot more over there on the Patreon. And best of all, you get to support the channel, and you can also support the channel at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. And then you can communicate with me and follow along over at social media at SirPaul64 on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. So for Batman and Superman, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.